Okay, had a good mental day today. We've had 9 tough physical practices. We're trying to simulate a game week, and so on Thursdays a game week, we'll do things similar to this, where we'll have walkthroughs, we'll have mental checks. It's a really good day for our guys to recover physically, and yet still gain something. We had 2 walkthroughs today. You had one this morning and another one this afternoon. Really like their focus. Guys have been competing, and it's fun part of camp. We're starting to get in that grueling grind phase. Once you get in that second, third week, guys don't see the light of day for the game, but our guys are still powering through it, and that's what's encouraging.
What stood out to you on with the inside linebackers, given that you've now been able to see them in full contact?
I think our guys are playing faster than they did in the springtime. They've got a much greater understanding of what we're trying to do. When you do that, you can play fast. We've had some really physical practices the last couple of days, probably more physical than how we practiced in the springtime. And so it's a matter of getting our guys to understand how to stay on your feet, how do you protect your teammates, and yet still get physicality done.
Has Garen Brown been a pleasant surprise for you guys?
He really has. You know, when he came in, nobody knew much about him, but he's a very smart football player. Seems to put himself in the right position to make plays. He's got some decent athleticism, and I see him, playing for us this year.
How is Makari adjusting to being a nose guard as opposed to like where he played last year?
Well, he's doing a good job. He's a veteran. Coach Az does a tremendous job of teaching those guys, and he's a guy who's played before, so he understands how to play with great pad level, how to play with a great motor. It's just the techniques he's being taught that are a little bit different.
Is there a big difference in
not really. I mean, we're playing some even fronts, shaded front stuff. Playing in a zero technique is a little bit different. And just the way that Coach Az drills those guys a little bit different. But again, he's a veteran. He understands how to adjust, and he's doing a really nice job.
Has he been getting these snaps outside in defensive end?
Yeah, what we try to do is have our big guys be able to play either the nose guard or the end position. And so, again, I love how Coach Az has those guys rotating so they all know what to do, and we get the best on the field. So if someone goes down who maybe is nose guard, the backup nose guard may not be as good as the third end. We'll put the third end in there.
It seemed like Looney was coming from every which way watching the full open practice the other day. How versatile has he been? How much has he helped in making things a little easier in terms of your scheme?
Well, he's really an explosive athlete. Kind of unique for his size. Being 285 or so pounds, and he gives you some flexibility. When we go to our 3-man stuff, he can be a nose guard, he can be an end. When we go to our even stuff, he can be an inside or an outside guy. And later on, when we get to our big packages, he can even be an outside backer with his athleticism. So he gives you some nice flexibility, can create some matchup problems for an offense, trying to deal with him if we're putting him on a tight end.
How much of an asset is Coach Alexander, the fact that he can talk to these kids on their level, both on the field and of course in social media, where he's kind of become a little
I haven't seen him much on social media, but I hear the legend of it. He has a fantastic relationship with our players. He's been where most of them want to go. He's played in the National Football League. He's also done a great job of studying the game so that he can teach it. A lot of guys that play at that level, they do it based on natural ability and drive and all those things, but they're not tremendous teachers. He's a tremendous teacher. He's a great fundamental teacher, a great teacher of vision for his players. And because he's got great energy and drive, and that probably reflects on social media, the players respect him and really appreciate the effort that he puts in.
What's really stood out to you about the defensive backfield now that you've seen them go through a game week and you've seen them get some hits? I think we've got some guys that are really athletic out there. We've got tremendous competition. I think there's at least 2 deep that we feel good about, getting in a game and being able to compete with anybody. And some position battles, we got 3 guys battling. And so when you got that kind of depth, it really helps. And we're talking today personnel about how do we get different packages where we get our best 22 on the field at some point. And it's a good problem to have when you've got a lot of athletic guys that are vying for different spots. Whether he's the third corner, can he be the nickel? Can he be the dime? Can he be the extra safety? Having those conversations with a bunch of guys. What kind of improvements have you seen from Cam Saffel from the day you got him to now?
I think he's much more fluid. I think he understands the defense much better. So he can put himself in position to make plays. He's a powerful guy off the edge. He's really good with his hands. He's done a nice job pass rush and run at the point of attack. But the thing that's impressed me a little bit from him is that when he's in space in the spring, there were times where it got a little ugly. But he's gotten much more flexible and he's doing a better job of sinking his hips, being able to change directions, and really being physical on receivers.
And he jumped that route the other day. Dang near got a pick and 7.
You would like to see him pick it, but we couldn't have seen that from him in the springtime. Again, he's anticipating great. He's bursting, playing with his pads down. And it's tough for a guy who all they've done is gone straight ahead, his entire career. Now we're asking him to backpedal at times. And so it took him a little bit to get it, but I really like the work that he's put in.
And we're seeing him drop back on a lot of those.
Yeah, depending on what we call in our base defense, our outside backers have to be able to rush or drop. And so we're teaching them the entire package. We're not game planning anybody right now. So it's teaching them all of our techniques.
To get back to the DBs, how's Allensworth camp going so far?
He's going well. He's a veteran. He understands what to do, how he's got to do it. But I'll tell you what, he's being pushed big time by a bunch of guys. We've got 2 freshmen in Cam Bynum and Elijah Hicks that are going to be special players in my opinion, and they're getting better every day. So DA knows if I don't push, those guys are going to take my job.
What have you seen from Luke Paquette this fall now that you have him in there?
Yeah, he's been a little bit of a pleasant surprise. When we saw him in the springtime, we knew he's a big-bodied guy. Watched a little bit of tape on him last year. There wasn't much. Wasn't sure about his athleticism, but I think in our package, and again, Coach Az does a tremendous job teaching these guys how to play the way we want them to play. He's really kind of, found a niche in this package. He's kind of a tweener guy. He's not a defensive end. He's not a true 3 technique. He's not a true nose guard. But within our system, playing a 4-eye, he's done a nice job, and then playing a little bit of nose.
That's all I got.